Have you ever wondered, why do I always feel inferior to others, even though I try so hard? Does it frustrate you when you see someone more talented or wealthier than you? The story of Arvin, a young man once obsessed with comparison, will teach you a deep lesson on how to overcome self-doubt and reach true success. If you want to uncover this secret, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of these life-changing, inspirational stories. Part 1. The Obsession of Comparison. In the small village of Bhavanapur, there lived a young man named Arvind. Arvind was known as a hard-working, honest person with a deep desire to succeed. But deep within, he carried an unspoken sadness, the habit of comparing himself to others. Every time he saw his best friend Rakesh always at the top of the class, Arvind would sigh, thinking, "I wish I were as smart as him." Walking past the mansion of Mr. Sanjay, the wealthiest man in the village, he would think, "I wish I had even half of his wealth." Even when he saw a young boy running fast across the fields, Arvind would feel disheartened, thinking, "Why am I not as good as others?" These thoughts were like invisible shackles, pulling Arvind deeper into disappointment. He lost focus on his work, his studies began to slip, and his self-confidence faded with each passing day. Arvind didn't realize that these pointless comparisons were quietly stealing his happiness and opportunities for growth. Part 2. The Fateful Meeting with the Sage. One day, as Arvind sat lost in negative thoughts by the banks of the Yamuna River, he heard news that a famous sage, Guru Devraj, had come to Bhavanapur to share his life lessons. Holding on to the last thread of hope, Arvind decided to visit Guru Devraj and pour out his heart. "Dear Guruji, I try so hard, but every time I see someone better or wealthier than me, I feel inferior and useless. How do I get rid of this feeling?" Guru Devraj smiled gently and, instead of answering immediately, said, "Tomorrow morning, go to the Chandrapur forest, under the largest banyan tree. There, you will find the answer." Arvind was a little surprised but nodded in agreement. He didn't know that the journey the next day would open up a completely new perspective on himself and life, something he had never imagined. Part 3. The Lesson from the Chandrapur forest. The next morning, Arvind made his way to the forest as instructed by Guru Devraj. Under the first light of dawn, Guru Devraj pointed toward the canopy of trees and asked, "What do you see in this forest?" Arvind observed and replied, "There are tall trees standing firm, some small trees, some are heavy with sweet fruits, and others just have green leaves." Guru Devraj smiled and gently said, "If the mango tree complains about not being as tall as the coconut tree, or the coconut tree feels sad because it doesn't bear sweet fruits like the mango tree, would this forest still be as beautiful as you see it now?" Arvind was taken aback, his eyes lighting up as he realized something. Guru continued, "Each tree has its own purpose, and so do humans. You are suffering because you have forgotten the unique value you possess." Guru's words were like a ray of light cutting through the fog in Arvind's mind, awakening him from the days of self-doubt and meaningless comparisons. Part 4. Awakening from nature's lesson. After the lesson in the forest, Guru Devraj took Arvind to a nearby crystal-clear lake. Pointing at the fish swimming merrily and the bird flying gracefully in the sky, Guru asked, "Arvind, if the fish complained that it couldn't fly like the bird, or the bird felt sad because it couldn't swim like the fish, do you think that would make sense?" Arvind immediately shook his head. "No, Guruji. Each species is born with its own environment and capabilities." Guru nodded with a gentle smile. "Then why do you force yourself to become someone you were not born to be? You have strengths that others do not. When you realize and cultivate those strengths, you will shine in your own unique way." Those words were like a sudden awakening for Arvind. He realized that instead of constantly looking up to others, he needed to focus on exploring and developing his own true self. Part 5. The Path to Success. Through self-discovery. From that day forward, Arvind no longer paid attention to comparing himself with others. He began the journey of discovering his own strengths, diligence, perseverance, and the ability to connect with people. Instead of dreaming about things that didn't belong to him, he focused on building a small crafts workshop, where he could use his skilled hands and creativity. As the months passed, with continuous effort, Arvin turned his small workshop into a renowned business in Bhavanapur, providing employment to many villages. He became an inspiring role model of resilience and self-appreciation. Whenever someone asked about the secret to his success, Arvind would simply smile and say, "Don't try to be a replica of anyone else. The sun and the moon don't compete to shine, as each has its own time to glow. Just be yourself, and that is the shortest path to success and happiness." Arvind once thought he was a failure simply because he wasn't like everyone around him. But the moment he realized, a fish doesn't need to know how to fly, and a bird doesn't need to know how to swim, he found his own path. From a boy who constantly compared himself to others, Arvind became a leader in his field, using his unique abilities and value. What about you? Will you continue to chase the shadow of others, or will you start believing in your own unique value and shine at the right time and in the right way? Remember, the sun and the moon both shine brightly in their own ways. So can you. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to our channel to stay inspired by more journeys of change. Who knows, the next video might be the turning point that changes your life.